In the next 12 months, we're about to see the biggest change in Pokemon's history, and right now we're in a pivotal moment. We are seeing a lot of people begin selling certain collections, certain PSA 10 slabs like the Pikachu from Ascended Heroes, and same with the Mega Gengar have dropped more than 40% in the last 2 months, and there is pockets of the market correcting right now. Though this moment I think is the one we all need to be looking out for, because there's gonna be a lot of doors open for opportunity, but also what I want to cover in this video is what we can expect for Pokemon cards, because right now it's strange, because since the end of 2024, we've all dealt with Pokemon cards being sold out at release pretty much. Literally, only a few sets were available at retail price, and almost all the sets heavily in demand have been close to impossible to buy at retail price or in a store, though I've actually seen that it's slowly changing. Perfect Order had a very lukewarm reception, and right now prices are tumbling for that. Chaos Rising hasn't had the best reception either, and Pitch Black isn't exactly making headlines. All we have right now that's super in demand is the 30th celebration, though also there's a big question of what's going to happen after that. So that's why I do want to go over the 5 areas that I'll be looking out for in the next 12 months. So the first area I want to speak about is get ready for slower gains, because the euphoria cannot last forever. Yes, slower gains will be happening, and the only set right now, like I mentioned, that I think is going to have that prismatic and Ascended Heroes-like energy is the 30th celebration. The main reason for that is because I think Pokemon cards have had way too much negative press in a way, and negative feedback around the scalping issues for a little bit too long now. And I think Pokemon's really going to start trying to get on top of this. And honestly, at one point, enough becomes enough. While I don't believe that the whole market will crash, I do think there will be pockets of heavy corrections. There is definitely areas that are crashing right now. I know that term is people don't like that term, and I do agree, but if you look at the definition of a crash, you can see that there is pockets of areas that have crashed. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, the PSA 10 chase of Ascended Heroes Pikachu and the Gengar have by definition crashed. And the reason for that is they were way too overinflated anyway. But in terms of the broader market, I do think after 30th celebration, there's going to be a massive amount of people that enter the hobby, they're excited about it, but then again, after that, unless a set can really pull in that huge fan demand, it is going to be a hard time for post 30th celebration, unless there is some Evolving Skies like set to release. But again, I think at the moment there's going to be so many questions happening for there, and confidence probably won't be that high, especially if demand starts catching up. Also, if you have been enjoying the video, my name's Phil and I create content around Pokemon collecting and Pokemon investing. Honestly, I'd love to have you join the channel and you can see all things happening in the Pokemon world. It's always great seeing new people on the channel. Now, the next area that I think everyone needs to keep on their radar is make sure you are looking for cards to purchase for your master set during the next 12 months. Right now, as of making this video, yes, Pokemon cards are going through a bit of a dip, though that is the summer period. Though if there is certain cards you wanted for your master set, you need to strike when the iron's hot, to be honest, with Pokemon collecting in general. Because the IP is so strong, and also, as you know, I speak about it a lot, millennials and Gen Z, we've changed a lot on what we like purchasing. We've made a lot of connections with certain IPs, especially with Pokemon. It's very nostalgic. We, as a generation, this is almost like our art collecting. So when Pokemon cards do go through a bit of a lull period, or if they start coming down in price, that is when you want to strike. And I think within the next 12 months, there will be a lot of people trying to get those cards for their master set. Especially, I'm actually speaking to you right now, if there's a certain card that you want in your set, or you've been eyeing off and you can see that it's going through a bit of a heavy drop, and that's probably going to be one of the better times to purchase it, from what we can see with the data and how it works before. Right now, we're in this summer lull, or this summer quieting down period, though again, these periods don't last forever. There will be maybe a spike that happens. Right now, there's not much confidence, but a thing that you all have to consider as well, it's been overinflated. Hype builds hype builds hype. It's kind of like how a snowball effect has happened. Same things happen with Pokemon cards, though I do think for master set collectors and people that want particular cards to add to their collections, in the next 12 months, there's going to be pockets to buy them, but I don't think they're all going to be happening at the same time. I think there's going to be certain time periods to buy those cards. Right now, PSA 10 cards are going through a big, heavy drop. So if you're a PSA 10 collector, maybe there's an opportunity building for you right now, but then it might be sealed product in a few months. It might be some raw cards. It might be special illustration rares. It might be illustration rares. It might be vintage next year. You never know, but the market behaves in different ways. Right now, vintage is heavily resilient. It is staying super strong in the market. What we did see last time when cards dropped heavily is that it took nearly 1 year for vintage cards to correct. Maybe a similar pattern is going to follow. By the way, for some really exciting news, I am going live on Whatnot and giving away some Pokemon booster packs, plus selling some packs as well on 30th July, 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Now, today's video is sponsored by Whatnot, and also I do have a $15 credit for first-time users, and I'll explain how to redeem that in just a second. So as you can see right here, I'm just checking out all the streams that are happening right now, and you can actually bid on all products live. So right now I'm gonna stream, and wow, there you go, a really cool vintage pack right there. Oh, there we go, Mega Electros Mega Attack Rare. Whether you're watching people open packs or you can just buy singles, really fun. Here we have the Charizard Trainer Gallery from Lost Origin. And if you look at the bottom, you can see how the bids go up as well. Really fun as well, but you can find some amazing cards for your collection. Now, also, you don't actually have to use Whatnot just for live shopping. You can actually use it as a marketplace as well. So here I'm just searching for pitch black sealed product. And right here, if I wanted to buy that and it just gets shipped to me, I can do it as well. Or I can purchase something to be opened in a live stream. If I wasn't happy with the price, I can also make an offer, which is fantastic, and it just works like a regular marketplace. Now, as I mentioned, for first-time users, you can redeem a $15 credit by signing up using the link in the description, or you can just scan the QR code that's appearing on screen right now. A big thanks to Whatnot supporting the channel. Now let's get back to the video. Now, the next point is get ready for sealed to become a long-term play. Now, veterans of the hobby will be very fine in this area, but the newcomers are going to need to adjust to this. See, when I started this channel, nearly everyone had the same idea, and the mentality was that sealed is a 5-year hold. Literally, anyone that collected Pokemon cards, especially when I made this channel, when I was doing it, sealed, it was just a very known thing that sealed is a 5-year thing. And I remember purchasing Crown Zenith, and I never expected it to rise like it has that quickly. If someone asked me in 2023 when I bought Crown Zenith, do I think it's gonna go to the levels it is today? No way did I think it was gonna rise that quickly, because my mentality when I bought Crown Zenith was, hey, I'm waiting 5 years for this. I was expecting something around 2028 to see the prices that we see today. But of course, that changed very quickly. Though one thing that's changed within the TCG and Pokemon collecting and investing, this area has already changed. The people that started during the Prismatic Evolutions era, all they know is you buy a sealed product, you wait a few months, and it rises in price. The people and the collectors that have been doing this for a much longer time, and people who have been in the hobby for a longer time, they already have the skill of patience. They know that you can't just sit on a product for 5 months and it's going to climb in price. And I think that mentality shift is going to start happening again, which I think is really healthy for the hobby, because this thing, like what I saw Phantasmal Flame selling for, no way, and Ascended Heroes as well, that is wild. And I actually haven't, I've kind of accepted that that's the new era that we're in now, but I also in a way haven't adjusted to that. That's so out of the realms of common sense to me. That's some new age Pokemon investing stuff, man. That just, it's not my vibe of what I'm used to in this hobby. So to me, I struggle with that a little bit, but yeah, man, like it's definitely become strange. Also, I wanted to say as well, man, like I know that a lot of people have been asking for updates on my back, and I really appreciate the messages, whether you've messaged me on my Discord or messaged me on Insta, but it is getting better, thankfully. It's pretty bad last week how it was, man. It's super painful, but you'll probably hear me say it again in future videos, but look after your body. I know I speak about Pokemon cards, but I genuinely care for all my audience on the other side of the screen. I know you've made a connection with the content, and I've really appreciate you watching this content, but man, take care of your body, because yeah, the pain I had actually changed a little bit of my outlook on life because it was really intense, but we are getting better, thankfully. Now, the next area in the next 12 months that I think everyone needs to keep an eye out is other franchises and other TCGs. Right now, they're all playing catch up, but I do think that these are all going to start diversifying, and it's going to come in waves. Right now, I can see it already happening, but in the next 12 months, this area is going to grow. I do think Pokemon led the way for TCGs in terms of this crazy euphoria, in terms of everything that's happened, but I'm expecting a lot of other TCGs for this to spread out to. We had One Piece in 2024, 2025, and even this year. One Piece has really been catching up, massive audience, huge collector base. In early 2026, Dragon Ball, particularly Fusion World, and even Dragon Ball Masters started spiking in price. A lot of that had to do with the Super Anime returning, or saying that it's going to return. The hiatus of Dragon Ball stopped. The TCG got a massive boom. A lot of people started collecting Dragon Ball, and that's something that happened, but Pokemon led the way, and of course now Dragon Ball is kind of following those footsteps. Lorcana is another one you need to keep an eye out on. Disney is no joke. That is an IP that is massive, but man, Disney adults have money. They got the bones, bro. Anyone that's got the bones is willing to pay and spend money on their collectibles. I don't want to go into the whole research thing and explain these things, but I'll just give you a little bit of a thing. It's not all doom and gloom. We have generally, millennials and Gen Z are having less children than previous generations. When you have less kids, guess what that means? You got more money in your pocket. People are more connected to their hobbies now. Older adults are more connected to their hobbies than any previous generation. It's just an area you want to keep an eye out on. I think Lorcana has a massive future ahead of it. I will be making some Lorcana content in the future because I've always found Lorcana fascinating because it's never been able to replicate the same success as Pokemon when it started, but it seems it is now playing catch up, which is really interesting. And I do think Lorcana is one to look out for, especially in the next 12 months. But don't forget, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has also released Overframe cards, which are almost like new alternate art cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! And they also have serialized cards coming out with magnificent monsters in the English TCG. This is also going to bring a new fan base. New people are going to start collecting. These are where you just want your eyes on these other TCGs. In the next 12 months, all these things are happening. Definitely, if you want to stay up to date with that, follow my channel. I have made a lot of Dragon Ball content. I'll be making continuous content around these TCGs, but they're areas you want to keep an eye out on. It's really interesting because I think the bridge between the video games and the trading cards will begin getting smaller, smaller, and smaller. And we can see so much influence from the video games and what happens to Pokemon prices because of that. For example, the release of Pokemon Legends EA caused Mega Evolution Pokemon cards to spike. And then the release of Pokemon Pocopia made Ditto cards spike in price. If you're unaware why that is, it's because Ditto is the main character in Pokemon Pocopia. Though I do wonder if how a game is seen and treated, if that does have any effect on the trading cards and the value of some cards. For example, Scarlet and Violet was seen as a really bad game due to the poor frame rates and the graphical performance. Though it's got me thinking, was the reception to Scarlet and Violet a little unfair? Well, I speak about that on my channel's Phillips Trick Room. You can see this video where I go deep into Scarlet and Violet and talk about if it was treated unfairly. I'd love your support there. There's a huge library of content to check out. It's all in the video's description. Now, the next point is, and I did mention it before, though, expect a big shift to happen post 30th celebration. The first month after 30th celebration, it's going to be crazy. People are going to be going insane. But unless there's going to be a TCG set that has the fans excited after that, I think that area is cloudy. Right now, we have the Mega Rayquaza set releasing. To be honest, I don't have enough information on that set. We do know the previous Rayquaza themed sets have been quite big. It's funny because a lot of people think that Evolving Skies is an Evolution set. It's actually not. It's actually a Rayquaza themed set. Same with Roaring Skies. That's actually going to be similar to what's going to be happening here as well. So yes, the post-celebration, post-30th, keep an eye out on that. I wouldn't really be overspending during that time. I'd be just taking a very cautious approach. That's my strategy anyway, just because, yeah, I do think that, like I've always mentioned on that channel, you probably hear me say it again, but that area is just the one part that I just have no clue what's going to happen. It could be the complete opposite, okay? It could be that Pokemon cards just spike enormously. 30th celebration, media, people just cannot believe it. It goes insane. Pokemon cards even become bigger than what they are. Though I know a lot of newcomers have entered. Though one thing that a lot of people have asked that, like, oh, Phil, they say, Phil, you've been collecting Pokemon cards for such a long time. But a lot of people ask, hey, Phil, if you started collecting Pokemon cards today, how would you start there? Or what would you do differently? Or how would you start from scratch? Well, I actually showcase my roadmap of how I'd collect Pokemon cards if I started from scratch in this video on screen here. Within this video, I explain how I'd start collecting Pokemon cards if I started again today. It's a really interesting video, gives you some good perspective. Honestly, I'd love you to check it out. Really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next video.